Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the debut record from Ville Valo, Noir, out January 13th on Spine Farm Records. This album has 12 tracks, 57 minutes in length, and he is an iconic Finnish musician, formerly of Him. As far as the design goes, this album has a structure that imitates the pages of a book, the pages of a diary, if you will. Every page has its own story, every page has its own essence, its own characteristics, but they're all binded together under one single book, written by the same hand, same memories, same thought process. This album is very much like that. You see the uniqueness of every single song, but you still see how they all connect to one another. It's an album that has great flow, that has great sense of engagement with the listener. You always feel like you're taking the right step in the right direction. I'm not going to say that this album offers a journey, but it definitely has a path that it's easy to follow because it's right in front of you with each and every passing song. The only exception to that fluidity is Loveletting. The end of that song feels quite abrupt considering everything else around it. You notice it because of how different it is from the rest of the album. It doesn't hurt the album, but it doesn't fall into the overall uniform unity that this record offers. As far as the sound is concerned, this is a pop rock album with a lot of warmth. Now that warmth comes from the stripped down elements that the album holds from start all the way to the end. I wouldn't say that this is an acoustic album, but there's definitely acoustic elements that take a huge role in how this album becomes defined by its sound. I enjoy the warmth of it, and the warmth of this record comes from that stripped down effect from those acoustic elements. It gives the album a soul. It makes the album feel more organic. It makes the album feel real. And this is important because at first glance the album feels very simple because of those same elements offer a sense of simplicity to how you process the album. But that doesn't mean that those same elements cannot create that warmth, and therefore with that warmth comes texture, layers, a more engaging album all around. This is one of those albums that the more you listen to, the more you discover. You have to really dive deep to understand exactly what this album is all about. The simplicity is there, but it's there in a very deceiving way. It deceives the listener. The album is a lot more intricate than it appears at first glance. But the warmth that it offers in the sound, in the experience, in the atmosphere, balancing darker moments, somber moments with a little bit of brighter moments, allowing the light in at certain times, really gives life, really gives experience to how you perceive the sound. The production behind it is a key element in order for you to have this sort of feel, in order for you to extract these sort of emotions and elements from the overall sound. You cannot have that stripped down effect create two different energies without great production behind it. This is also an album that doesn't depend on guitars, it doesn't depend on drums, it doesn't depend on keyboards, it doesn't depend on bass. It depends on all of it. It balances all out. It takes the best of all of these different elements. It doesn't allow one to overshadow the other, but brings them all together under one single roof, under one single umbrella, so that these songs feel complete. They feel robust in what they offer and the atmosphere that they create and the sound that they give song in and song out. But all of this sound, all of these songs, as organic as they feel, they can only really live behind a vocalist as strong as Ville Valo. He's unique, he has a different tone to himself, he can do things that nobody else can. But on this album, while he felt very free and loose, it also felt very controlled. I don't think he used all the tools in his arsenal, if you will. I think he felt the need to stay close to what the sound offers and what this album is all about. It feels like a very personal record. It feels like a record that comes from deep within inside. And because of that, you don't have to go too far away from it vocally. You need to stay grounded, you need to stay connected, you need to stay with it. You need to give these songs and the lyrical content in these songs the energy that they require. And sometimes that energy requires you to stay close. It allows you to stay a little bit tighter. It doesn't really need you to be as free as you can be, but still at the same time feeling loose in your performance. This album has that sort of duality vocally, a duality that is not easy to achieve, that is not easy to create, that it's only at the reach of a very skillful vocalists that understand everything that goes into making a song, and more importantly, that understand exactly what they're trying to express with every single track. This album for a debut record doesn't surprise me due to the knowledge and experience that Ville has. But it's a great record because perhaps it opens the veil a little bit into who he is as a person. Definitely the personal touch is more present on this album than anything that he did with him. It just feels more of what he gives, more of his soul is into it, and therefore you're able to see beyond everything else that could be in front of him. Incredible sounding album, but with a vocal performance to match. As far as favorite songs are concerned, I want to start off with Run Away from the Sun, a track that feels very summer-like, has a lot of brightness to it. The acoustic guitar sound and the vocal melodies really bring this song into the forefront, really allow you to feel like you have this summer, springish vibe. You know, energy is in the air, the flowers are blossoming, the light is out there, you want to go and walk through the fields. This track has all of those emotions built into it, a very jovial track, if you will. The keys add to that fresh, bright sound, add to that essence that the track has. The stripped down verses work really well because they build into a more robust chorus, even though the chorus keeps in line with what the verses are offering. The energy and the experience remains very balanced between the two. There's just a slight increase in terms of what the volume brings into the forefront. The chorus vocally is super catchy, but the same thing could be said about every single track on this album. Next comes the Foreverlost. This is my favorite song on the record. The blending that this song offers, the blending of heavier sound, electronic sound, almost industrial to a certain degree, with a more stripped down, vocally driven moments, is the lifeline of this song. A song that has incredible duality to it. It's a Jekyll and Hyde track existing under one single roof. It moves really well, it has great tempo, but at the same time, it slows down depending on where you are. When the song is heavier, more electronically driven, the track moves very well. When the song goes more into this darker, vocally driven perspective, the song slows down so that you can better connect with the emotion that the track offers at that specific time. The chorus vocally is beautiful. Beautiful. It's a beautiful chorus, extremely well delivered with great sound behind it that enhances that same delivery. The overall energy that you get from this track is outstanding. But once again, the ebbs and flows that the track has, the different dynamics between portions of the song, it's what makes this track stand out, at least in my mind. Last but not least, Heartful of Ghosts, a very dark and somber song. You see it in the opening, but you see that same darkness stay through as far as the overall atmosphere is concerned. You see it perhaps a little bit more in the stripped down elements and the stripped down portions of the song. It has beautiful layers as far as the vocals are concerned. The darkness of the sound is in those layers, is in that vocal performance. It feels subdued, but it has volume because of the layers add volume to the delivery, to the performance. And the darkness in the sound is matched by the darkness in the tone that Ville uses. So it's a very balanced track all around. Even though it doesn't feel repetitive, it doesn't feel boring, it is balanced. It gives you a sense of uniform. It is a very cohesive song, vocally and musically, with everything coming together as one and everything pushing you in the exact same direction. A very interesting song because it takes the mood really low. It's a song that feels completely different mood-wise, atmosphere-wise from, for example, Run Away from the Sun. Run Away from the Sun is high energy, it has brightness to it, and then Heartful of Ghosts, it feels depleted of all of those same elements. This is at Ville Valo Neon Noir, out January 13th on Spinefarm Records. Let me know your thoughts on him, the songs, the singles, the album, the man, the musician. Use the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.